Pandora, Tina G, Michelle Warmoth, Karen Purdy, Fox Hill Dreams, Cecile Kazemi, Misha Oliver, Punxsutawney Mo, where am I? Johnny's Two Cents, Tanise, Kathleen Cross, Jennifer Rayner, Lucielle, Bernadette, Susie Brizuela, Watcher Soko, Julianne Gauthier, Gavin Rutherford, Ms. Nick, Kathy Murphy, and me, BDD, in the Heezy. Who else is here? Gina Potter, Cha-Cha, Queen of the South, Tracy M, Solid Blue Sister, Sarah B, Kim and Me, Samantha Hawkins, Synth Fan, Amanda Crawford, hey, Cindy C, Phyllis Hatch, Valerie G, Essential Human, Cindy from Alaska, Stacy Mendenhall, Neva Ward. She's at work and she can't turn up the volume. Welcome to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad, and this is Storytime. Happy Friday, y'all. This is going to be an extended weekend, I believe, because Monday is Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there. I see we got some late attendees. We got Lee Saunders, Jen Murphy, Anna Alvarez, Jennifer Raynor, Wilbur McCarthy, Asmila J, Michelle Warmoth, LB Studio, the Trump Reaper. All right, so we got some things to get into. But first, we're going to cover what's in the stories of the day. Stories of the day. Wait a minute. Stories of the day. The January 6th commission has been kiboshed, voted down, filibustered. So what's next? This weekend marks the anniversary of the Tulsa massacre, and we're going to dive into that a little bit. What is inflation? Is it really all that bad? We'll find out. Last but not least, once again, he's going for the record. It's Raggedy Matt Gaetz as today's You Raggedy Bish. I really wanted to say biatch. I don't know why I didn't just say biatch. Biatch! Also, your boy Ken is in the house, as well as this person here who asked me to say me, say me. It was a gardener, I believe. Let's see, where is she? I'm scrolling up. Here we go. Oh, Jenny the gardener says, say me, say me. Okay, me. But that's my dad humor. All right, so I got to be honest with you guys. I've had a rough 24 hours. Rough. Some of you folks have very helpfully brought to my attention that there are trolls out there trying to dox me and they're posting my address and phone number, and it's a hassle. And I go to Twitter to chase them down, and Twitter's like, we don't see any violation of our terms and conditions. You stupid motherfuckers. It's just irritating as hell. The cats came into my studio today. This is my studio. They came in and they knocked over. They knocked over my camera, my lights, my power surge protect, all that shit, and my printer can't even connect. So now I have to refer to my notes on the computer screen. Anyway, that's my little bitch section there. I was like this close. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna even do the show. But this show gives me joy, so I'm glad I decided to actually go ahead and do it. But you can't even yell at the cats because they don't even understand what you're saying. They don't even understand. I'm like, rah, 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 and they're like, meow. All right, so I got some random stuff to get into. Last night, Wifey and I were watching the Friends reunion. Now, some of you guys might be super fans of Friends, but during the 90s, I never got into Friends. Actually, I I had a whole lot of my own personal issues that kept me away from the TV and away from civilization. I was messed up in the 90s. Word up. Was messed up. So I missed it, but it was obviously a big cultural phenomenon. And so last night, this is Wifey's favorite show. It is her top favorite show. And for Christmas, I think it was Christmas or her birthday, I had gotten her like the complete DVD box set, all 10 seasons on DVD. And I'm so glad I did, because now I want to, I've already seen a few seasons of it, but now I want to catch up, because as they were showing past episodes and bloopers and stuff like that, it's really actually a cute show. So they were all there, and they brought back some regulars. I think this thing is streaming on HBO Max. If you want to check it out, it was emotional, actually, and despite the fact that I didn't have the connection to the characters and to the show, I did feel that emotion too. So it looks like a fun show. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check out the whole thing and let you know how it goes. I might stream it over the weekend, like just binge. But tonight, it's Friday night, and it's game 3. It says game 2 up there, but really it's game 3 of the Knicks versus the Hawks in this playoff series. And as you know, I will not be tweeting about it, but I will be watching. I will be riveted. This is interrupting my usual Friday night movie night, but this is an important game. So hopefully the outcome of this game puts this little jackass, Trae Young, he's talented, but I can't stand him. He's like Reggie Miller. I can't stand him. I hope it puts him on his ass. And last but not least, the other show Wifey and I were able to catch up to last night was The Handmaid's Tale. This most recent episode was very satisfying indeed. And I won't say anything, but yeah, I'll go as far as spoiling it for you with this picture. No context whatsoever. Boom. But trust me when I say you're gonna want to see it. If you're into that show, that was very satisfying. All right. And last but not least, I want to let you guys know now that I am considering cutting the show back a little bit, down to Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So 3 days a week, and that will allow me some time to actually focus on the book, the second book. Yeah, there still is a second book, and I've already written some pages, and I don't want to just leave it because it could be very funny. I think it's going to be very funny. So yeah, I do want to be able to devote some time to developing that book, getting my sketches together, and putting that into production. So that's the plan. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so let's jump into the quick hits. Hit that Mama B. Yes, same illustrator. Stacy Mendenhall wants to know, same illustrator. That illustrator was John Kelly. John Kelly. Let's see. Ba-da-da-da-da. Where's my quick hits? Oh, it's right here. All right, so some of you may or may not be aware that back in the day, back in 1921 in America, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time was known as Black Wall Street. Why? Because there was a great number of affluent and successful black citizens living there. Now, I didn't even learn about this in school, and I went to a very good high school, they didn't teach us anything about that. In fact, I only learned about this from watching a show on HBO called The Watchmen. Yeah, that's where I learned about this critical piece of information. So back in 1921, there was a lot of racism and violent racism, and the white people in Tulsa did not approve of these black people doing better than they. So what happened? There was a riot. It wasn't just a riot, it was actually a massacre. As many as 300 black citizens of Tulsa lost their lives that day. They were murdered, and there were mass graves. And this is actually a photograph of the scene of mayhem. And that's what Tulsa, Black Wall Street, looked like in the aftermath. So next week on Tuesday, President Biden is going to Tulsa to speak to some of the survivors. It's amazing to me because that's 100 years ago. 100 years. So he's going to speak with some of the survivors of Tulsa. And we actually just learned recently that an alert had been posted that to expect an act of white supremacist terrorism in Tulsa to coincide with his visit, which is disgusting, but of course. So stay tuned on that. I'm sure President Biden's security team is on top of the situation. They will assess it and neutralize the threat. One threat that really does need to be neutralized is hacking. Computer hacking, and the latest salvo fired by Russia is yet another hack attack, similar to it was done by the same people who attacked SolarWinds last year, and it was it's a group called, I want to say it's Nobelium. Hold on, now I need my notes. Yes, Nobelium. They targeted 3,000 emails in different companies. And what they did was basically they send an email. Let me just forward here. They send an email that looks like this, and it's got a link. And if you are foolish enough to click on it, then it gives you a virus. It gives your computer a virus. So guys, I want to tell you, you probably know this already, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you ever get an email, a suspicious email, especially one that's from USAID, that's what the email was, a USAID special alert. Do not open it, just delete it, mark it as spam, whatever. Report it to Google or whatever email server you use, please. So January 6th is still one of the most shocking and terrible attacks on our country by our own countrymen since the Civil War, as noted yesterday by President Biden. And despite that fact, today the GOP, the members of the GOP Senate used their filibuster and blocked the formation of a bipartisan commission. And in fact, the vote was 55 to 34 or 56 to 35. There were 11 members of Congress that were missing. Now, strangely enough, they got counted six votes from Republicans, despite Mitch McConnell's best efforts to ask them to please do us a favor. Wait, I'm gonna need you to do me a personal favor. Please do not vote yes for that January 6th commission. Six of them broke ranks. I thought it was only going to be three. It was six. But here's the strange thing. Two Democrats didn't even show up for the vote. And you probably can guess one of those people. It wasn't Joe Manchin. It was Kyrsten Sinema was one of them. And the other one was Patty Murphy from Washington. So this is a disgrace. I mean, at the very least, we should have all of our people there, regardless of what you thought the final vote margin was going to be. Show up and do your damn job. Jesus Christ, I'm really sick of this Kyrsten Sinema. And despite the fact that Gladys Sicknick, the mother of Brian Sicknick, directly spoke with the GOP and, the GOP senators, she said that it was that her meeting with them was tense. And why was it tense? Because she believed, this is her words, she believed that they were not being genuine. And that's her nice way of saying she believed that they were bullshitting her to her face. So what's next? It looks like Joe Manchin, for some reason, says that it's not over, and that they can still somehow put together a bipartisan commission. What I say they should do is they should just appoint a special prosecutor, have Nancy Pelosi put together groups where she's got some votes over there. 35 Republicans did vote in favor of a January 6th commission. So she can pull some of those 35 and appoint them to whatever investigation committee that she's going to do. And just go forward, do what we got to do, and forget about involving the GOP Senate. I think that's what the situation calls for. You can't count on Republicans anymore. They don't believe in bipartisanship. So why are we pretending like bipartisanship exists now? It doesn't even exist anymore. It's a joke. All right, guys, it is now time for a timeline, a cleanse. Timeline cleanse. Boom, boom, boom. Timeline cleanse. All right, so this first one, when I showed Wifey this, she did not like this, but yeah, it for some reason it cracked me up. I really shouldn't laugh at this. It shouldn't amuse me, but this shit is funny. I gotta show it. It's so wrong. It's so wrong, but it's so right. Oh no. I'm sorry. That's why I love my wife, because she's so sweet. To her, it was just mean. It was just mean. And yeah, I get it was mean, but that shit was funny. He expertly avoided the other two guys' heads and just like, oh my Lord. Yeah, hopefully that kid is okay. All right, next one. We're going to stay on the football field. Ah, what a simple sense of humor. That is the contribution from our friend Johnny's 2 cents. Thank you, Johnny. Um, and Susie Brizuela also agrees with Wifey. And I figure most of you guys would agree with it, but if you secretly want to laugh at that, be my guest. This shit is funny. I don't care. It's funny. All right. Next one, we're gonna stay on the playing field. I'm sure you guys over the years have heard people try to disrespect somebody, say you play like a girl. Well, nowadays when somebody plays like a girl, that's not an insult. That's a compliment. Check out this little girl. She's just breaking ankles. Look at that. Look at that. Unstoppable. Watch this little girl. Shakes the ball. That's one ankle broken. That's two. I broke yours again. Three. Four. Five. Six. Six broken ankles on her way to the touchdown. Shadadun. Da-da-dun. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This little girl's got moves. I'm saying. That's impressive. I love to see that. If that was my little girl, I'd be going ape shit. Yes. You go, girl. All right. Next one. Fun fact, I used to rollerblade. And I was an avid rollerblader. I would rollerblade from my apartment to the train station. And once actually I got a ticket from a cop for wearing my rollerblades in the subway on the train. And then, like, I used to work from 4 p.m. to midnight. And then at midnight, I strapped on the rollerblades and I'd rollerblade all the way down from 49th Street and 9th Avenue down to Chinatown, and that's nice. It's nice, even despite all the potholes and whatnot. Um, but sometimes too much rollerblade is just too much. Somehow this guy made it work for him. He's swiffering, he's doing the laundry, grabbing his coffee, setting the table. Now he goes to work, down the steps. Now I'm gonna chill out and watch some TV.
You thought I was gonna fall in the last scene, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Ooh, knucklehead. It's pretty funny. I thought this was cool. Especially the vacuuming backwards skating is very cool. This guy has got skills. But I hope he doesn't mark up the floor with those rollerblades. That's why I would never do that. I wouldn't do it. Care too much about the floors. Okay, that's that. That's it for our timeline cleanse. And let's go ahead and jump right on into our roll call. Show me where you're coming from. Show me where you are at. Show me now. Wait.
Show me now.
Okay, we got Sydney C. in Lakewood, Washington. Julian Gautier from the central coast of California. Saint Fan from Florida. Johnny's 2 cents from Crackema, Washington. Can I say it again? I'm going to say it again. From Crackema, Washington. Crackema. Happy Hippie from Arizona, but heading back to Nevada. Denise from the Bronx, Jennifer Rader from Wisconsin Rapids, Kathy Murphy stuck in CT, Gavin Rutherford in sunny Aaron, Foxhill Dreams in Aiken, South Kakalaki, Shel Teresa from Raleigh, North Kakalaki. Your boy Ken from H-Town in Texas. Kat Leaney from Michigan. Tina G from Albuquerque. Stephanie L from Spring Hill, Florida. Pandora from Boston. Asmila J working in Houston, Texas. Monique and Mom from the DMV. Hi, Mom. Watcher Soko saying hello from Orange County, California. Amanda in Arkansas. Ness from Connecticut. Nurse Mitch from Glen Burnie, Maryland. Janet from CT. Cha-Cha from Gig Harbor, Washington. Sudi Q from Centennial, Colorado. Jen Murphy in the DMV. Ms. Nick from Stafford, Virginia. Uh-oh. Okay. The Trump Reaper just accidentally blocked some person. Please find out who you accidentally blocked and unblock them, please. Thank you, my wonderful moderator. Wojo Mom is here with Bella in Greece, New York. Marie from New Jersey. Karen Purdy from Newton Falls, Ohio. There she is. Cecile in Grapevine, Texas. Sherry Scary, KC, Missouri, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. Samantha Hawkins, that's Samantha from the Bronx. Paula Freitas from Madeira Island, Portugal. Sarah B. in Temple, Texas. Lee from Leeds, eating salad today. That was me last night. She B. in Chile, Chicago. Michelle Warmoth from Berlin, CT. Lucy from Orange County, California. Bernadette in Phoenix, Arizona. Sylvia Correa in Madeira Island, Portugal. Linda from Aiken, South Kakalaki. Valerie in Staten Island. Lisa Hathaway from Cleveland, Ohio. RJ is in 90-degree Florida heat. That's hot. Terry Fry from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tammy Taylor in West Coast, Florida. C from Kansas City. Anissa currently heading on a train back to Rhode Island from Washington, D.C. Stella Baxter in Los Angeles with Moderna jab number 2 done today. Cindy from Alaska in rainy Anchorage, Alaska. Jenny the Gardener in Lake Zurich, Illinois. The Trump Reaper in sweaty, humid, stupid, Long Beach, California. Wilbur McCarthy. Row, row. That's our dog lover buddy in Martinez, Georgia. Da-da-da-da-da. Solid Blue Sister in Southern California. Sandra in Paramount, California. Puppy is away for training until Wednesday. That's cool. Good luck with that. Kathleen Cross in Boothwyn, Pennsylvania. Punxsutawney Mo from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Scribble My Dimples just joined us and missed the whole beginning. Misha Oliver celebrating her birthday in Long Beach, California. Jenny the Gardener is still here. Anna Alvarez in Claremont, Florida, where it's 95 degrees. Sally Rose from the Philly suburbs. Oh, hey, today is Misha Oliver's birthday. What up? Happy birthday, Misha. Misha's birthday is today. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Na-na-na-na. Back from Tucson. Alicia Williams is back from Tucson, Arizona, at home in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And let's see. Ba-da-ba. Jenny the Gardener, you only have to send me your location one time from Lake Zurich, Illinois. Thank you very much. And let's see. Ba-ba-ba. We got everybody saying happy birthday to Misha. Let's see. Hey, there's Jen and Fat Tony from Elgin, Texas. What do you say, peoples? Love to see you. Yeah, let's see. Okay, great. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for that roll call. And now it is time to jump into our segment called Inflation. What is it good for? Nothing. Actually, can it be? What is inflation? I mean, You know what it is, right? Everybody always talks about it. Is it blowing up this balloon? No. That is it. Yes, it is, but it's a different kind of inflation. Is it when you blow up a big fat balloon? No, it's still the same thing. Is it when you suddenly inflate your belly with foodstuffs? Some might say that I might say that I am recently inflated in that regard. But no, that's not inflation. Inflation is when the prices of products go up and when the value of your dollar goes down. Prices go up, value goes down. Now, I asked the question, I was like, well, is that necessarily a bad thing? And yeah, common sense should be like, yeah, that is bad. Brooklyn Dad, what's wrong with you? Why are you making this complicated? I will explain. Okay, so back in the 70s, my first introduction to the whole concept of inflation, and I didn't even really understand it at the time, was when President Jimmy Carter took over the stewardship of our economy. And if you look at that picture there, you will recognize that dude who still had a good amount of hair on his head. That's Joe Biden whispering to President Carter. Jimmy Carter took over the presidency during a time when inflation was already like on the rise and it was bad. It was not good. In fact, I remember as a kid going from like my mom made me a pitcher of lemonade and I went from car to car. I was selling lemonade to people waiting for gas. They were waiting for gas. This was a bad time for the economy. It was a gas shortage, dovetailed with skyrocketing prices, skyrocketing unemployment. It was really bad until finally, I think in 1979, President Carter appointed a guy to oversee the economy, and he instituted some changes that helped, but it was too late. You know, his goose was cooked, and he lost in in a veritable landslide to President Reagan. But when you talk about inflation, it helps to have some kind of perspective, like what were prices like back then, or even further back compared to what they are now. So back in 1950, I'm going way back. I'm taking us way back to 1950 because people frequently look at 1950 as, that was the time when America was great. They're not talking about all the racist stuff. They're just talking about, ooh, I had a lot of money. But back in 1950, a postage stamp was 3 cents, 3 pennies for a stamp. And nowadays, a stamp is 55 cents. That's a whole lot of inflation. But really, if you think about it, it's, you know, what is that, 50, 70 years. It took 71 years for it to go from 3 cents to 55 cents. That's a long time. I think that's a decent rise, I guess. The price of milk was 82 cents in 1950 compared with $3.52 a gallon right now. I don't know what the prices are of milk where you're at, but that's about the average price of a gallon of milk, 3.52. Not cheap, not cheap, but you got to have it. Bread, a loaf of bread was 14 cents. 14 cents for a loaf of bread. And now the price of a loaf of bread is $2.07. So you see, the price of these things keep going up, and common sense, our salaries should also be going up, our wages, but they are not. The price of gas. A gallon of gasoline back in 1950 was 21 cents. 21 cents. And now people are seeing prices that are not good at all. For 1 gallon of unleaded in some places, that's a speedway, some places is $3.49. $3.49. All right. not cheap at all. And even a house, back in the 50s, you could get a house for 14 grand, $14,000 for a full ass house with like two bedrooms and a garage. Garage. Look at me, I'm fancy. But yeah, so prices are inevitably always going to go up, but inflation is different, right? Inflation is just not, it's not just the, the regular uh raising of prices. It is caused by a number of different factors, and we're going to get into what some of those factors are. For one, factor number one is a growing economy. So, when you have an economy that is experiencing growth, positive growth, then you get inflation. And that, my friends, is when inflation is not a bad thing. Now, there's two different kinds of inflation. There's hyperinflation and stagflation. Um, Hyper is when those prices skyrocket, but they eventually come back down. Stagflation is worse because that's when the prices go up and the value of your dollar goes down and you're unemployed. That's stagflation. That's when the whole country is in bad shape. Um, the expansion of the money supply. So basically, when the government prints more money, it makes the value of your money go down. Um, yeah, you're just printing more money. Government regulation is another thing that causes inflation. Like, for instance, an ill-advised trade war with China, which results in tariffs. And as we tried to tell that jackass over and over and over, uh, China doesn't pay those tariffs, dude. The American consumer pays the tariff. I'm getting a good comment here from Punxsutawney Moe. He says inflation is never good for the middle class and the poor, and I'm going to agree with you there because you are right. You are right. Right. Stacy Mendenhall says her local gas stations are over $4 a gallon, but it's a small town. She gets gas in the town where her office is, still under $4 there. And it's interesting you say that because another thing that causes inflation is the whole supply versus demand. Um, if there's a limited supply and an overwhelming demand for it, that causes people, the businesses to jack the prices. If they only have this much and it's so valuable, that causes the prices to go up. Managing the national debt or failure to manage the national debt can also cause inflation. When it rises, when the debt rises, the government can either raise taxes on taxpayers or they can raise taxes on companies, corporations, and that's the road Joe Biden wants to go down, raising the taxes not just on the corporations but on people making more than 400 grand a year. Let's see. Anissa says, "Okay, don't judge me. I'm already ready to judge you. Don't judge me. But why does the value of money go down when more is created? Because you are flooding the zone with those dollars and more. So what the thing I was just saying about when your supply is limited and your demand is high, that enables the people to raise the prices because it's more valuable. Anytime you have less of something, it becomes more valuable. That's just how it is. Um, yeah. So when the government taxes businesses, corporations, those corporations pass the cost of those extra taxes onto the consumers, and that's another reason why you have inflation. And last but not least, you have changes in the exchange rate. So when the value of the dollar dips in relation to the value of foreign money, then it then becomes more expensive to purchase foreign goods, right? So the stuff that we're importing, it's now more expensive if our dollar is weaker, caused by that inflation. So, what's the worst thing that can happen from inflation? A recession. That's pretty much the worst thing. I'm not even going to say depression, but economists are now, you're going to hear them start talking more and more about inflation, and they're concerned that the economy is supercharged, it's superheated, and something's got to give. The government is spending a lot of money, on all those things where they sent out the COVID relief bill, and there is growth, but there's less growth in employment than they expected. So that means not as many people are getting back to employment. Some people are concernicus about that. So what could happen is, if you guys have investments, if you have like 401k or stocks or whatever, in a recession, the value of your investments and retirement savings will go down. Purchasing power decreases, then people spend less. And then businesses, they cut back on their spending and their investing, and then they have to let people go. And then unemployed people, they spend less. So yeah, we don't want that kind of. We don't want a recession. We don't want a recession at all. Um, but like I was saying in the beginning of this segment, sometimes inflation can be a good thing. So, for instance, our economy right now is growing at a